Hello, and welcome to another episode of Something Something Chat Show with Tom Jr. Jackson presents Late Night Live with Tom Jr. Jackson, episode 3. And as always, welcome to you returning viewers of the replay and anyone who is watching. I am, as always, your host, Tom Jr. Jackson, and it is always a thrill and honor to be here with you watching, as always. As always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And all the playlists, all the shows are in different playlists. So if you want to do marathons, go right ahead and do that. Let me think here. Oh yeah, please subscribe to the Burnett Network and Positive Fandom. There are links down below, and check out After the Sequels. Okay. So, let's see here. Okay. So, I don't really have much to go on. It's been hot. What can I say? It's been hot here lately. Tonight, it is, I don't know. I think it's like 79, 80. It's 79, but feels like 85. So it's very much a warm one tonight. I got my ceiling fan on and whatnot. So that's a good thing. Also, if you're into tarot card readings, look up Metaphysical Muse. That's Metaphysical Muse on YouTube. She does some great readings. She also does private readings as well. She's a good friend of mine. She knows what she's doing, and she's very kind as well. So you got that going on. Let's see. We got the writer's strike going on. We got the actor strike going on. We've got these people complain that all these actors, they all have the money. They know what they're doing. They have the money. They don't need to ask for more. Well, no, that's not true. Not every actor has the money. Not every actor makes the big bucks. You ask anybody that works in Hollywood if they can get their picture made. And I would say maybe 5 out of 10 people get theirs made. I'm using that as a ballpark figure. What the actors want is fair pay, health insurance, and something to be done about AI. I mean, the studios wanted to do this thing where they hired background actors. And you'd be paid for the day. They'd scan you, and then they would own your likeness till the end of time. That doesn't sound fair to me. And then it's also about residuals. Some people get a penny. What are you going to do with a penny? I saw one person today wanted to buy something, a pack of gum on, I think it was Amazon. And what happened was they wanted a pack of gum, which is like $1.38 but the check was like for $1.28. They couldn't even buy what was on Amazon. That that's sad. That's very sad. I mean, actors are people too, and and they're allowed to have political beliefs, political statements. There are some that say things that you may agree with, and some things you may not agree with. But you know what? Everybody does. Everybody has a statement that you might not has a belief that you either believe in, or you don't believe in, or you agree with, or you don't agree with. It's like movies. My opinion about movies may not be the same as your opinion about movies. So it's okay. It's okay to have that difference in opinion. It's just that some people with their opinions believe that their opinion is the end all be all. So if a movie doesn't do well, or if they don't like a movie, they will tell you, don't go see that. That movie is garbage. Don't go see it. Well, maybe I want to see it. Maybe I might like it. Maybe I'd like to make my own opinion, form my own opinion. And I think some people who want a movie to fail find it upsetting when it doesn't and it's doing well. Well, people are going to like things that you're not going to like. Some people are going to like Barbie, some people are not. Some people are going to like Oppenheimer, some people are not. I like Mission Impossible. I thought it was a great movie. It was a fun movie. It was action packed, nonstop. You couldn't catch your breath a moment in that. That to me you couldn't, and it was great. And I don't mind that it's a part one, part two situation. I think that's fun, because a lot of TV shows used to be part one, end of part one, beginning of part two. We used to have movies like that, part one and part two. And now people think there's a problem with that. There's no problem with that. They used to do that all the time. Well, this movie's too long. Well, movies used to be epics. Look at the Ten Commandments. Look at Spartacus. Those were long. Yeah, people can't handle that because I really don't think people would be able to handle an intermission for a movie. I don't think they could. And again, I'm sorry for any lagging in this. I have the world's worst internet, so please forgive me. I have what's called Frontier Internet. I don't have the good one. I have just the regular one because where I live, they don't want to give us the fiber optic update, the good stuff. Probably with the good stuff, I'd have a really good stream. But what are you going to do? I love doing live streams. Anyways, that's not my point. My point is this. We all have opinions, and we're not going to agree with them, and we're not going to agree with them. Getting back to the actors' strike, they deserve what they're asking for. They deserve to be respected by the studios. These actors and writers deserve to make more money. They shouldn't be treated like cattle and said, well, you're making this movie. Well, you made this movie, you made X amount of money. Yeah. Well, you see, you got to remember, those are the top 1% A-list actors that get that big bucks, the do re mi, as they call it. And then you'll have your background actors and your lower tiered actors, and they don't make as much. I mean, there are certain actors that worked for Netflix, and they were saying they'd have to get second jobs. Why? What? And some people like these short seasons. You have to wait and see if you get picked up, and sometimes you don't even know if you're going to get picked up or not. It's. And by the way, that model of the shorter seasons of like 6 to 10 episodes, that comes from British television, where they would do 6 episodes, and that would be it. And then you'd get maybe like a second season, and that's it. They do 2 seasons. 2 seasons of a show, and that's it. You know, 2 seasons, and or they call them series there. Series 1, series 2. Um, I look at it this way. I hope that they get things that the writers and the actors get things resolved. I hope the studios come to realize, you know, yeah, exactly. Studio actors who you kind of recognize from time to time, but you don't know their names. Oh, hey, I know that guy. I've seen that guy. You're that guy. Oh, that guy. That guy you've seen in the movies. Yeah, that guy there. You know what I mean? That. I think you have. Um, well, someone was saying I should cancel my subscription to my streaming service, and I shouldn't see this. I shouldn't. No, don't do that. You see, by you going and seeing things, those actors will in some way get paid for what they did. You know what I mean? You're helping fund and making sure that stuff that they worked on is shown. You know, they want you to watch it because if you don't, it gives into the studios, and the studios like, well, they're not going to do this. Why should we? We're just going to up the price for this. I mean, it's a very confusing thing. It's a very disturbing thing when you get executives saying, well, we're going to make this go till they can't eat, till they go hungry. And then you see someone like Ron Perlman get upset, and then people get upset going, well, he's rich. He doesn't have to worry about anything. Well, you know what? Maybe he's not worrying about himself. Maybe he's worrying about those lower tier people who don't make the big bucks, who don't have health insurance, who don't have uh, that safety net of the money. There are people living paycheck, barely making it paycheck to paycheck. But this is their passion. They want to write, they want to act, they want to do the best they can because it's their passion. It's what they wanted to do. It's what they chose to go into. No one forced these people to become writers and actors and producers and directors and all that stuff. No. These are things because they love one thing in common: movies. They love entertainment. They love that feeling of knowing that what they're doing is going to make a difference in someone's life. So um, let's say you make a movie. It may not do well, but to someone that's going to become their comfort film. They might enjoy that film a lot, where they can go, I'm going to buy that movie, I'm going to watch it over and over again. I've seen people say, well, why do you people buy physical media when you could just watch it on streaming? Really? When you can watch it on streaming, when you have studios that are taking down things that you might want to see? Well, we don't want to have to pay. That's just the answer. Oh, we don't want to have to pay these other studios or the companies or the actors. So we'll just take these things down because if no one's going to watch it, we don't want to have to pay for them. Well, it's sort of like, what if someone tells someone, hey, you should see the Knifey Knife show. It's a great show. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. You go to watch it. It's not there. Why is it not there? Because no one was watching it, but it was doing so well on the channel, but they didn't want to keep paying for it. That's dumb. And people ask me, well, why do you like everything? Well, I like things, and there are things I don't like, but I don't like talking about them because I can tend to get upset about it. And then when I get upset about it, I can tend to go a little bit overboard, and then I might say something stupid, which I don't ever want to do. But, I think that there's so many people out there who are negative enough, who thrive on those the who thrive on the negativeness of things for clicks and views. It's not me. And if I don't get the whatever it is to become monetized, I don't care. I mean, I would I like to be monetized? Oh yes, that'd be great. Would I like to get one of those little plaques? Sure. But if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's okay with me. I do this because I love it. It's not a job. Well, it should be a job, but would I like it to be a job? Oh yeah. But it's fun. JH Edits asks, did you see the studio CEO yearly? Yes, I did. And when you hear these people are getting bonuses, and yet you got, Joe Q Writer who's not making enough, or um, Allie Actor, and she's not getting enough money or insurance or whatever it is that she deserves. It hurts. It hurts your business. You have to think about it. If you are a business and you don't pay your workers right, what are they going to do? They're going to walk. Why don't people like unions? Because unions will strike and unions will walk. But the unions are people that take care of those who need to be taken care of. They make sure that they're not being screwed over by the big business or by the big studios or whatever. These are the people that are looking out for you. That's why you have a union. And I'm happy that people have that looking out for them. So yeah, I don't think I think maybe if some of those CEOs took a pay cut, it would show some good faith, just half of what they make. I mean, you have enough as it is. Take half. Take the other half and put it into a fund that goes for actors or something, or writers even. And then, at the end of the year, distribute it to whoever needs it. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't keep it for yourself. It doesn't look that good, folks. It doesn't look that good at all. So yeah. There is that. Just a moment here. So one of the things I've noticed lately, just to shift the topic here, let's talk about Instagram for a minute. Lately, there has been a certain amount of people who, and I know I've seen like people getting these things. Some people have mentioned they've gotten these messages where people will go, "Hey, how you doing?" And they'll start a conversation with you. Well, I've been getting that lately, and then I got one person who did that and then said to me, "We should hook up. Would you like to hook up? But I'm going to have to charge you." And I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean you're going to have to charge me? What do you mean charge?" And this person asked, "Well, haven't you ever been with an escort?" I go, "No." I go, "That's not what I do. I like to get to know someone and possibly date them, but I like to get to know them first. I don't really jump into bed with everybody. And then if things go well, I get intimate with a lady." And this woman goes, "Oh, you bop them for free?" Well, she used the F word, but she goes, you screw them for free? I go, "Well, that's how dating works." And so I had to block that person. Then another person came up and said, "Well, I'm a low key escort." And then she asked me if I was a member of the police or law enforcement. First of all, join me here at Camera One, folks. Police are the same as law enforcement. All police, all federal, people, the army, anything like that, that's all law enforcement. So you can just say, are you law enforcement? That's all. Anyways, I am not. Do I want to escort? No, I don't. And that's a dangerous thing, by the way, folks. A dangerous thing to do. It's a very, very dangerous profession. You could get killed. You could get beat up. You don't know who you're looking at. And most of all, I don't want unsolicited people coming into my DMs looking for hookups, because that's not what I'm about. That's wrong. And when did Instagram become a dating site? Because last time I checked, it wasn't. But then again, and not to insult anyone, I mean, I've seen people who said that they are followers of God, and yet you got these same people who says they are followers of God dressing up like they're hoes for God. Yeah. Doesn't probably work out for that. So anyways, today I watched, what did I watch today? I watched Bohemian Rhapsody today. And I've seen it before, but I really watched it today. And it really is a Queen movie, but just with Freddie Mercury in it. Oh yeah, I get the bizarre DMs. But I like Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a great movie, great music. Here's the thing: is that Brian May, Dr. Brian May, the guitarist for what do you call it? The guitarist for Queen. Because he's a astrophysicist as well. And says people have approached him, keep asking him, when is the sequel to Bohemian Rhapsody coming out? Folks, the sequel to Bohemian Rhapsody is you watch Freddie Mercury die. You watch Freddie Mercury die. And that would be the sequel. He dies, and then you watch Queen go on without him. Is that really what you want to watch? That's the most saddest thing. That is very sad to watch. I don't think that it's a good thing. I mean, and since when do biopics have a sequel? That's like saying, well, let's make a sequel to Ray. Well, that's all you can say about Ray Charles, or whatever. You want to go to the end of their lives and then watch them die. It's kind of morbid. But anyways, I like Bohemian Rhapsody. And I find it interesting that Bryan Singer directed it, but yet he did it for a little bit. And then they brought in the director of Rocket Man, Ruben Fleischer, to finish it. And at one point when he was doing Rocket Man, he almost thought about bringing in Rami Malek, who played Freddie Mercury. And he was going to have him in a scene where Elton's in a restaurant and they meet up in there, because Elton John and Freddie Mercury were really great friends. As a matter of fact, well, you know what, JH, I've seen the Conners. It's not a bad show, It's not that bad of a show. It's pretty good. It's still it's just Roseanne without Roseanne, and they do hit the hard topics on that show. It's still funny, but they still bring in that drama that was there from before, so they know how to do it a bit well. Anyways, yeah, Elton John and Freddie Mercury were friends, and when Freddie Mercury was dying, Elton John went to see him. Freddie Mercury was in the bed, and he had all these books out for auctions, and he was buying paintings and stuff. And there was a painting, I think, by Freddie Mercury's bed that Elton John liked. Cut to Freddie has passed, and Christmas morning, someone knocked at Elton's door, and it was a package for Elton John, and it was this painting that Elton loved that Freddie gave to him. He left it to Elton, and I think it's either by Elton's bed or it's hanging up in his home or something like that, I read. Which, by the way, folks, if you have not read Elton John's book, Me, he goes balls to the wall gossip. Like, he talks about everybody he knows. And it's one of the greatest books I've ever read. So anyways, I watched that today. I watched some Columbo today. Actually, I watched an episode of Columbo last night. And who was it? Johnny Cash was in the episode. And he played a music singer who was in prison, but this woman got him out and they were married, and he didn't love her and she didn't love him. But if he wanted to stay out of prison, she had to stay with him. And he goes on this plane ride somewhere, and he brings his wife and this other woman. And basically he what's it called? He poisons the water that they're drinking. So he poisons the water they're drinking, and they fall asleep. So he's like, not poisoned, but gave them a Mickey or whatever you call it. And so they fall asleep, and he jumps. He first of all he pours out everything that's in the thermos, throws that out of the plane, flies a little bit further, then jumps out of the plane. Lets the plane crash, and then pretends, oh well, I fell out of the plane. I got thrown from the plane, and plane, poor me. But it was pretty good. Yeah, well, Freddie was harder. It is harder to replace. But Queen has, I believe, Adam Levine, Adam something. I can't remember his name, but he replaced Freddie. And he's actually in the movie. There's a scene where Freddie's on the phone talking to his girlfriend, and the Adam is is this truck driver with Freddie. Sorry for the interruption. That's when Freddie realizes that. That's when Freddie realizes that he's, gay. Yeah, the guy who replaced Steve Perry is legit. Has the voice and everything, and Steve Perry is still out there. Don't get me wrong, he's still out there. Um, but yeah, I like Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a good movie. There's a movie on Amazon I want to watch, and it's with um Sam Neill, and it's called The Portable Door. It looks interesting. I'd like to watch that. But there was a new trailer that was released today for a Alexander Payne movie, and it was called The Holdovers. And if you look it up, it looks like a trailer from the 70s. The whole thing feels like it's from the 70s, like it could have been released in the 70s. It looks really great. It's with Paul Giamatti, and I can't wait to see that. Yeah, Sam Neill has, I think, lymphoma or something like that. So yeah, I have heard about that. Oh, excuse me. I'm drinking sparkling lemon lime, water, unsweetened flavored water. There's no artificial flavors. There's no sugars. There's no sodium. There's no aspartame. Roy Orbison, yes. I remember Roy Orbison died in, 1988. I remember when Roy Orbison died. It was like, it's coming up on 40 years. 40 years ago. He died right around the time of the stock market crash in the 80s. Hi, Nana Moose. Good to see you. It is good to see you. Um, and as you all may or may not know, a lot of the streams that RM was going to do on Positive Fandom were all moved to next week. Ladies at the PGS, Cat's Corner, her review of Sound of Freedom, all that stuff has been moved to next week. So I just thought I'd let you guys know. And this show is brought to you by Air. We need it. We want it. Give it to me. Air. And by Bear. No. Do you have a headache? Bear. Actually, this episode is brought to you by Double Indemnity. Which is a great movie. Not hair, not air, air, air. The air that we breathe. As you all know, I have an accent, a New England accent. And also, I am deaf in my right ear. So and yes, I truly am deaf in my right ear. We don't need people yelling in my right ear. As funny as that is, we don't need it. Yeah, Roy Orbison played a great harmonica as well. He was in the Traveling Wilburys with George Harrison and Tom Petty and Jeff Lynne. And I think he's a favorite of Sarah. I can't remember her name now. Night. Can't remember her name. She's a great guitarist and singer. I could actually look it up because she's one of my favorite singers, which does help when you know who it is you like. And Nyland, Nygaard, no, it begins with an N. I know that. Let's see here. Give me a moment. Yeah, I've been hearing about that sabotage where some places the AC's not on or they'll stop the showings. Sarah Niemetz. That's Niemietz. Sarah. SARANIEMIETZ. Yeah, they're good films, you know. I mean, I'm sure it's a great film. Powerful subject, and it's a subject I think people are afraid to discuss. It's a wait, hang on a moment. Let me get something. And we're back. Okay. I needed to blow my nose. It was kind of driving me crazy there. Um, yeah. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So a good movie I also like is Double Indemnity. Yeah, it is a one topic that's the big elephant in the room, and it's a traumatic thing. It's not like these children are asking to do this stuff. It's not like that. Hey, I want to be trafficked. You know, no one wants that. It's it's sad, very very sad. But yeah, one of the movies I like is Double Indemnity. This is the Criterion edition. This came out in 44, so it's about 80, about 79, 80 years ago, something like that. Yeah, about 79 years ago. And Fred McMurray, Barbara Stanwyck, Edward G. Robinson. It's a great film, directed by Billy Wilder. Um, it's the greatest film about obsession and betrayal. Yeah. A movie like Sound of Freedom. It's not like it's gonna be your go to comfort film. I know that. It's not like it's not like the film that you want to go to where you're like, oh yeah, let's watch some child trafficking. That's my comfort food, man. If you really want to watch things like that, go watch Lifetime. Lifetime is the channel where literally, like, I've dated women that loved the Lifetime network, and Lifetime was very much the channel, we could see someone have a stalker, and then they get beaten, they get, assaulted, they get kidnapped, and yet still they end up going after the person, or they end up becoming afraid of the person. Or you got your Hallmark movies where I can tell you, hey, what, you want to see a Hallmark movie? Okay, here's a Hallmark movie for you. And this is the plot of every movie. Girl works in a big city, reluctantly goes back home, has to do something with a local business, bumps into ex-boyfriend or whatever. They end up reconnecting. They end up getting into an argument. Then they reconnect again and fall in love. End of story. That is a Hallmark movie. And it's the same thing over and over, just with different people. Now, if you're an actor and you're watching this and you do Hallmark movies, congratulations. I'm glad you do those. They've done a few of them here in Connecticut. I think a few years ago, I think maybe like a year or so ago, I was on a bus and I was going through a town and I saw where they filmed a movie. I think they've done some of one in Mystic, Connecticut. I think they were just doing one recently in Mystic, if I'm not mistaken. They made Mystic Pizza in Connecticut. There are two Mystic Pizzas, by the way. There's the original Mystic Pizza that's on that strip of Mystic, Connecticut, where there's the big drawbridge. And then there's another one that's like down the road from me here. It's called Mystic Pizza 2. But the original Mystic Pizza, the original place, they play the movie Mystic Pizza over and over and over and over again on a loop in the restaurant. So, yeah, I watched Ghostbusters. I saw Ghostbusters at the movies. We were in the car with my father, and I think we ended up seeing it in Peekskill, New York. So that's as close to New York as you're going to get. And I remember going and seeing it. That was the summer of '84, I believe. But I remember from my conversation the other day with Paul from Twin Flicks, and he was talking about remembering going and seeing E.T. in the theater. I literally have flashes in my mind of sitting in the theater watching E.T. and both my mother and father crying from the scene of E.T. dying. See, I must have been, 82. I was 7. My brother must have been about 4. Yeah. 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. It's about 4 or 5, or maybe 5 or 6, something like that. No, about 4. Maybe 3 or 4, something like that. But I remember going and seeing that. And just watching that, yeah, I'm surprised that they don't do that still. I mean, they do it now once in a great while, but the studios, if they were smart, if the studios were smart and you want to get people to come back to theaters, keep doing those retro movies. Keep doing those retro screenings of older films. Because you will get fans of those original films to come watch them. Plain and simple. And they'll bring their kids. Well, if it's, appropriate for kids. You really don't want to take your kid to see Blade Runner. I mean, a small child, 8 or 9 years old, would be confused by the film, probably bored by it. Yeah, so I'd say probably about 12, 13 years old, but 7 or 8, something like that. It's a little too young. Yeah. I would love it if they did that. If they did double features of older films, because I know Fandango works with Turner Classic Movies, and Turner Classic Movies for anniversaries show classic films. I think the last classic film I saw on Dune, the last classic movie I saw on the big screen was about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was actually no, it was right before the pandemic, and it was A Miracle on 34th Street with Maureen O'Hara and Natalie. She was with Robert Wagner, Natalie Wood. Yeah, and it would be nice if they. I think every year, I think like especially for the 40th anniversary of movies, put those films all year in the theaters. So if let's say Karate Kid, Back to the Future, E.T., they all came out in a certain year. So for 2024, do Ghostbusters, do Back to the Future, do movies like that, do The Muppets Take Manhattan, do, all these great older films from the 80s and show them, even films from the 70s. I would love, I've never seen Serpico, but I would love to see it in the big screen, on the big screen, in the big screen, yes. But definitely it's something that I think I would love to see. Let's see here. Hold on here. What's this say? Yeah, okay. How long ago that 56 minutes ago? Okay. Yeah. By the way, if you Never Ending Story, I saw Never Ending Story. True story. I saw Never Ending Story as a double feature with the Muppets. Was it the Muppets Take Manhattan? I think my older cousin, my late older cousin took me, and my other cousin took me, and we went and saw. I think it was Muppets Take Manhattan first, and then they showed Never Ending Story. I think I remember seeing that on the big screen. I remember seeing Batteries Not Included on the big screen. I love that movie. But Never Ending Story, I think they should re-release that in theaters. I think it would do really well. As a matter of fact, Cat from Cat's Corner, the other night went and saw. There's a theater in California that showed A New Hope, but they showed the unedited version, the original unedited version of Star Wars: A New Hope, not the specialized version, but the original 1977 edition of the film. My first film in the theater, actually, no, it wasn't in the theater. I think it was in the drive-in. Was the movie Magic with Anthony Hopkins and Burgess Meredith and Anne Margaret. And because I was such a big fan of the Muppets, my parents thought, well, he loves the Muppets. There's a puppet in this movie. He'll love it. They didn't know that the movie was about a homicidal ventriloquist dummy that wanted his owner, played by Anthony Hopkins, to kill people. And it's a great movie. Every time it's on, I have to watch it. Burgess Meredith, excellent actor, great in that movie. Burgess, you want to see a really great two really great performances by Burgess Meredith, and I'm not talking about Rocky. It's Of Mice and Men with Lon Chaney Jr. and Of Mice and Men, and there's another one I was thinking of. Magic, yeah, Magic. But yeah, as a matter of fact, they were originally going to have as a cameo in Flash. It was going to be Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. It was going to be Cesar Romero as the Joker and Burgess Meredith as the Penguin. And you were going to see them in the Speed Force Coliseum thing. That would have been cool. Anyways, yeah, I remember Wrath of Khan was one of those movies. When I was a kid, someone used to record movies for us. So I think the movies we had were the Muppet movie, the Blues Brothers, Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan, and I watched that a lot. And I love The Wrath of Khan, where Shatner kicks Christopher Lloyd in the face. I have had enough of you. Yeah. I think really the studios are. I mean, look, you have Turner Classic Movies putting out these, these retro films. But what you really need is for them to have the studios do it as well. I guarantee you, if there is a clamoring for it, they will do it. If you want it, they will do it. You got to just have to have the right crowd that wants to see it. Plain and simple. But I would love to see E.T. in the theater again. I would love to see Never Ending Story. I would like to see the Cannonball Run on the big screen. That would be fun. Smokey and the Bandit, I think they've shown, but I would definitely see it. I would love to see them do a Smokey and the Bandit. If they were going to do it for today, I think they could. But Buford T. Justice would be a bit. What's the word I'm looking for? He would have to be tamed down. But I love the Cannonball Run. Jackie Chan was in the first Cannonball Run. And both films are great. I think Jackie Chan may have been in both of them, but I know he's in the first one. So that was really like the start of Jackie Chan doing American movies. Everybody says that Rush Hour was Jackie Chan's first American film. It wasn't. It was Cannonball Run. He was in the Cannonball Run, and that was one of the films we had with Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise as Captain Chaos and Jamie Farr from MASH as the Sheik. And then you have like Sinatra's in it, and Dean and Samuel Davis Jr. And I think really, if they were to do a Cannonball Run, if they were going to do Cannonball Run today, I would like to see the Burt Reynolds character played by George Clooney. I want to see George Clooney do that. That's right, Sean. It was E.T. was in, I think it was The Phantom Menace. Yeah, it was The Phantom Menace. or maybe it may have been by the Revenge of the Sith, but they were in the Galactic Senate. But that is um, because Spielberg always put nods to George in his films, and George would put nods to Spielberg in his films. Um, if you watch Poltergeist in the son's bedroom, the one who gets dragged out by and this is the original 82 Poltergeist. If you watch and you look on the wall, there's a poster of um, what's his name, Darth Vader, and I think it's still on the Late Show website, but there's a great series of interviews with um, Steven Spielberg and Stephen Colbert, and they talk about a sequel to E.T. and he says no, 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 no. There's a nod to Yoda. Maybe Yoda is in E.T. Close Encounters. But there's a nod to Yoda in E.T. You know, so it's it's very interesting that it's nice to see that they give each other shout outs. Where if you play the Lego Star Wars games, there's always um, a nod to Indiana Jones, and then when you do Indiana Jones, there's a nod to Star Wars in those Lego games. And the Lego games are fun, and sometimes they're very very hard. I find that the easiest games, video games, turn out to be the hardest ones you will ever try to play, which is crazy. Yeah, ET. ET has that. That'd be cool. And I have all three versions of Close Encounters. As a matter of fact, What was the movie I was talking about with someone? It was. Um, it was a movie because it was so close to Close Encounters. That's right, E.T. Because the man went off with uh, Richard Dreyfuss goes off with the aliens. He didn't want that with ET because that would be too similar. Which, by the way, I remember the ET game. I had the ET game. It was hard to play, but I loved it. I have a friend. His name is Greg, and I think his channel on YouTube is Greg's Gaming. Let's see. Maybe I can find it here. Oh, Gaming with Greg. But he has all these different. Let's see here. Greg's. It's called Greg's Game Room. All right, so it's called Greg's. Yes, they really did. There is a documentary out there about them. I can't remember what the name of it is, but they go out to it's where they found all the ET games and they redug them up. But my um, let's see here, share. Just a minute. Okay. So I'm going to put it in here. So since you all like games, see. Games. Check out Greg's gaming room. .com /. Okay. Greg's game. Okay, so I'm putting the link in the thing here. For cool retro games, check out Greg's Gaming Room on YouTube, where he does a lot of videos about different gaming systems. Like he owns a lot. Like he has a Genesis and a Super Nintendo, and he talks about why he doesn't collect retro games, or he talked about having the Atari 5200 controller and stuff like that. He's a great guy. He also was I think a character actor for a while on Sea Hunt, not Sea Hunt. Yeah, I think it was Sea Hunt DSV or whatever. It was a show that was on in the early 80s, late 90s, or something like that, early 90s. But yeah. By the way, when you're done with this, go check out Paulie from Latino Slant, who has posted his first reaction to seeing Oppenheimer. So if you want to see someone in the YouTube community's first reaction to seeing it, there you go. Hopefully this weekend, I'm thinking I'm going to go. Maybe Friday I'll go see it. I'm excited to see it. It'll be interesting. Yeah, so Greg does a lot of he has a ton of retro game systems. It's amazing. Greg is cool. He's from Florida. And he also has a second channel, which he does. He goes around to like different places in Florida and all that stuff. But he's a great guy. He's a good friend. I gotta hit him up one of these days, because I was mentioning to him about the Architects of Imagination, which is on the Burnett Network, if you haven't noticed. I was telling the host of it, DJ, about Greg, and he was like, "Yeah, send him over." I think Greg would be a great guest for that show, especially talking about those retro game systems. So hopefully, I can hook those two up and get that going for them. I like talking to Maria Espino about her gaming situation with her gaming thing. As a matter of fact, folks, I'm going to take a little time out here, and I'm going to read a letter which I have received, and it is our friend the foot fetish woman or person, and they have written me. I don't know if it's a woman or not, but all I can say is, you're killing me with these. Let's see here. Where is it? No, that's not it. Let's see here. Here it is. So here's a letter I have gotten. Dear Tom, that's you. Yes, that is me. Dear Tom, I like to mop the floors with my feet. Okay. And here's a letter I've gotten. It says, Dear Tom, that's you. That's me. Dear Tom, I like to mop the floors with my feet. But do you think I should use Pine Sol or Fabuloso? Also, do you still have all your toes? Asking for a friend, signed The Foot. Well, The Foot. Yes, I do have all my toes. I would go with Pine Sol if you want that piney smell, and Fabuloso if you just want to smell fabulous in your house. So there you go. Thank you for that letter. All right, thank you, JH. It was good seeing you. Thank you for stopping by. As always, it's been real. But yeah. Um, I used to play games all the time. I used to play Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. Baby Pac-Man was a retro hybrid of a video game and a um, pinball machine. And then you had what was it? It was Dragon's Lair and then Space Ace. And then I remember the Three Stooges game as well. Because I remember going to arcades as a kid, and I miss that. Oh, I miss going to arcades a lot. They were a lot of fun. So let's see. What do I have coming this week? What is on the way? All right. So tomorrow, I will be getting Hugo in 3D from Aero and Fool's Paradise. So yeah, that'll be fun. Because they said they were both supposed to come on Wednesday, but at least now I know that they're coming tomorrow. So that will be awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, good, I ordered the right thing. I had to order one of those, what do you call them? Detergent balls, the fabric softener enhancer. You put a fabric softener ball, you put it in with your laundry. So yeah, I had to get one of those. That should be here Saturday, so that's not bad. It's only $5. But August, so I'll tell you this what I got coming out for August. August 16th, I'm getting the Machine. And I can't wait to see the Machine. I don't know about you folks, but I am a huge fan of Bert Kreischer, which the book is fine, but get his book Life of the Party on Audible. If you have Audible, get that. I really wish I was sponsored by Audible. That'd be awesome. Anyways, his audiobook Life of the Party is great. It's hilarious. Here's the thing about Bert Kreischer, The Machine, as you may know. The movie Van Wilder is based on him. And he's not credited for it because something happened. I forgot what it was that they didn't give him credit for it. But yeah, he is the real Van Wilder. And I love Bert Kreischer. He's hilarious. Great guy. His specials are on Netflix. Check them out. He's hilarious. His last one, Razzle Dazzle. I would say go to the bathroom first and then watch it because you might pee yourself from laughing too hard. how are games getting woke? Oh, yes. And by the way, folks, if you would like to write in to the show and you would like to send me a letter, please send it here. Send it to me, care of Tom's something email 69 at proton.me, and you too will be able to send me in a letter, and I will read it on the air. What else is going on? I mean, we got Oppenheimer coming out this week. We got lots and lots of great things coming out, and I can't wait. We got Barbie. Next week is I think The Haunted Mansion, which from what I've been reading, Haunted Mansion is a fun movie. Lots of reviewers on YouTube, been writing on Twitter that it's a great movie. It's fun. It's more in tune with the ride, and there's great Easter eggs and great cameos in it. And they say the first half lags a little bit, but the second and third acts of the film are the best. So you got that going for you. Gran Turismo is coming out soon as well, I believe. And that's based on a true story, that movie, from what I'm seeing. So yeah, I'm very interested in seeing that as well. Unlike Need for Speed, which really, who watched that movie? By the way, Christopher Nolan that says that he talks about retiring from filmmaking, but he says he's at some point he will, but he has no desire to film another superhero movie. He's done that, been there, bought the shirt, as they say. It's just fine. You do what you want, Chris Nolan. You do what you want. So right now in Mystic, Connecticut, let's see. Birds movie. Thursday at 8 is Oppenheimer. I'd love to go Thursday at noon. So Oppenheimer is just how long is Oppenheimer? Nope, doesn't say. Let's see here. I think Oppenheimer is 3:15. Oppenheimer. Okay, Oppenheimer runtime, it says here, is 3 hours. Oppenheimer is 3 hours and 9 seconds, I should say. So it says here, yes, the filmmakers have seen the scuttlebutt. Is the nuke in Oppenheimer real? Yes, the filmmakers have seen the scuttlebutt, Christopher Nolan tells The Hollywood Reporter, but no, he did not do that. It's flattering to think that people think I would be capable of something as extreme as that on one hand, but it's also a bit scary on the other. He did not set off a nuclear bomb. And there are people that are out there who think Chris Nolan set off a nuclear atomic bomb in the desert. Folks, if he were to have done that, you would have seen it on the news. You would have heard about it. So, but you bring up a thing about games being woke and virtual signaling and all that. I think the only people that notice that stuff are people who are looking for that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to insult anyone, but I think people are actively go and look for that stuff when they go to see a movie. Oh, well, I went to see this movie. Everybody likes it, but they had this, and this, and that. Some people are going to be that way. And they're not going to stop doing it. They're going to keep doing it because, what else is there to do? So anyways, we're at 116. Yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream now. I want to thank my wonderful group of people in the chat. Sean Holmes, JH Edits, Darth Plato, Anonymous, and you, the people watching the playback. Thank you for watching, and as always, please remember, we are all good people, and everywhere and everyone you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear, and all you have to do, sit down, listen, and get the story you've been waiting to hear. Until next time, I am, as always, your host, Tom Jr. Jackson, and I thank you for watching.